Hello, today I'm going to take you through a quick and straight to the point video on how to tie a shock leader to a main line. First, let me explain why you need one in the first place. When you cast the leg weight, a tremendous amount of stress is put on the line between the reel and the lead weight. If we intend not to use a shock leader, then we only can cast a weight that is capable of being casted with the capacity of that line. If you have been sea fishing and been casting without a shock leader, then please consider this. Imagine an angler standing next to you casting a lead that snapped off, and the lead's travelling towards you at 150 miles per hour. Imagine the damage that it could do to you. If you're using a 18-pound line as an example, that line can only be expected to take the load of a 1.8 ounce lead. Yep, you've heard it, 1.8 ounce can only be expected to be cast from an 18-pound main line. Which brings me on to the next point. What strength shock leader should you be using? Well, it's very simple. For a 3 ounce lead, you need a 30-pound shock leader, 4 ounce 40 pounds, 5 ounce 50 pounds, and so on. If you, like me, cast with different weights within a certain range, then you put on the shock leader that you're likely to cast up to at its max. As an example, I don't ever cast more than 6 ounce, so I put on a 60-pound shock leader. With that out of the way, I'm going to show you now how to use the uni knot. The first thing we need to do is to tie a standard overhand granny knot. Don't fully tighten it up, just leave enough loop there so we can put the main line through. Now obviously there's two ways that we can put the main line through, but there's only one way that actually works, and that is to make sure that the main line goes through the same direction and under the loop as shown here. So if I'm pulling it through there, you can see that when I lift up the loop, you can see that both of them are actually going through the loop in the same direction. That's the correct way. Now if I was to take this out now and put it through the wrong way, you'll see that the main line is now going over the top of the loop. You can see that we've got the shock leader through the loop and the main line over the top of the loop. What happens is when we tighten the main shock leader up, it actually puts the tag end the wrong direction. I'll show you. You'll notice now that both tag ends are actually pointing in the same direction. That's not what we want it to happen. We want to actually have the main line going in flow with the direction of the shock leader. So that's put it through the correct way. And you'll soon know it's the correct way when you tighten that shock leader up. You can see it's going through the loop rather than over the top of the loop. So I'm just going to nip up this shock leader. You'll notice that the shock leader's got the tag one end, and then we've got the tag of the main line going the opposite end. And that's exactly the way that it should be. If I just pull this tight, you can see this. Now we want to create a loop just by pushing against the main line there, and then we want to thread the line through the loop between 4 and 5 times. Just keep passing it through and around. Now it's very important that you lubricate the line before pulling it very tight, and saliva is the best and quickest way of doing that, especially when you're already out on the beach, if you had to do this on the beach. So I'm just pulling it hand tight just a little bit, and then I'm going to just wet it, then pull it tight. and there we go. So this is how to tie the shock leader to the main line using the uni knot. Never use pliers on the main line to pull it tight. You're just going to damage your main line and you can get a snap off, so don't want that. Also, you may want to be careful if you're using your fingers, because I've done it in the past where I've pulled quite tight and the line slipped through and really cut into my fingers, and it can cut deep. You can use the pliers on the tag end of the shock leader, that's not a problem, but just to remember to lubricate that. And finally, just to finish it off, just want to clip those tag ends off, and I find the best way to do that is to use a pair of nail clippers. I actually take these with me in my tackle box. That's using the uni knot, really secure, and it really does work well, and it's quite an easy knot to remember once you've done it a few times. So again, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to tie an overhand granny knot, not fully tight, and threading the main line through the same way as we did before, so it's going in the same direction under and through the loop. Apart from, we're not going to be tying the uni knot, we're going to be tying a blood knot. So let's just pull this tight. And you notice that I've kept, with a pinch of my fingers, a gap there. You see there, right where my thumb is. When I'm winding it around, there's a gap remaining, so I can thread it back through. So I'm just threading it back through that gap of line there. You can clearly see it now. Just wet it and then pull it tight. It's really as simple as that, and it's really important to make sure that you get it right and that it's all working. And again, just as before, we just want to nip off the tag ends of both the main line and the shock leader. With the following demonstration, I'm going to be showing two different thicknesses of line. This is only to demonstrate how this is done. Normally you would use two of the same thickness lines. So first of all, you run the lines alongside each other. You create the loop and hold it there with your thumb and finger, and then you just do the standard uni knot that we did before. I'm going to run it through only 4 times in this particular case. This is an ideal knot to use when you're tying a tapered shock leader to the same diameter line of the main line. And just pull that tight there. Make sure that it's lubricated. For now, we're just going to pull it hand tight, and then we do exactly the same for the other line. And as I mentioned, this line is a lot thicker, just so we can see the difference between the two, but it's the same knot. So I'm forming the loop. I'm going to thread through this 4 times. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Just pull this hand tight, lubricate that knot, and then just pull from either side of the line and they will both pull together. And then they will tighten against each other. Next, I'm going to be showing you with similar line diameter, using exactly the same knot. So in this particular case, I'm going to be using two different colours just so you can see it much more easier. And of course, as before, we just nip off the tag ends. So this is line to line of the same diameter. Now let's look at the same knot with line of similar diameter. In fact, the black line you can see is just slightly thicker. It's an 18-pound line, and the yellow line is a 15-pound line. But you'll get the point with this. It creates a very nice, strong, neat knot. So I hope this video was clear enough for you to see, and that you learned something from this and understand the importance of having a shock leader. Thanks for watching, and bye for now.